Bum. Hello, everybody.
Yeah.
Welcome to Art First. Hello, Brian, and happy Friday.
Hello. It's great to see you guys.
Yeah.
And well, good to see you so far. Excited to be here. Happy Friday. We're summer's over, right? This is like Labor Day weekend. We're almost through it.
Not over until we say it.
Everyone thought the summer would be a real drag, and it ended up being a very exciting summer for crypto markets and NFTs, and everyone's kind of feeling good. I was at the Super Rare Gallery last night for Mendez show.
Nice.
Shout out to our guest from a month ago.
Dude,
I got one of the prints. I'm excited about that, and his auctions crushed today.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like there's positive vibes in the air, and excited to be here.
No doubt, it's wonderful, and like you said, art in general just feels like it's heating up. You put out a nice little tweet today, just kind of like recapping some of the things that we've done. We got a bunch of new followers, so thank you for everybody who's joining us on there. But it is one of those things where I look back and I was like, yeah, we've done a bunch of these. But then you look and you're like, we've done a lot of these, and each one is about an hour or more. So like,
yeah,
that's pretty awesome. And
they add up.
Yeah, I'm excited to keep adding to it.
More people get excited to come on, and it's starting to feel like it's rolling, which is great.
It is.
Yeah. And I'm excited about our guest today. I mean, it's someone I've known in the space for, I don't know, it feels like maybe 5 years now.
Okay.
Getting close to there at least. But I finally got to meet him in person earlier this year in Lisbon, and then again in Rio. But we're old CryptoVoxel neighbors, and I've always admired what he's done, both in terms of creating kind of cool 3D artwork, but also creating augmented reality photo filters and geometric AR and all sorts of cool stuff. So I'll let you introduce him. I'm excited.
Yeah, absolutely. So like you said, an amazing artist, works in 3D space, works AR, VR, interactive, building worlds, like quite literally building worlds, like you said, beyond CryptoVoxels, but like things that people can experience, which is really, really cool. I'm really excited today to welcome to the stage, welcome to Art First, Ottis. Hello, Ottis. How are you,
dude?
Hello. Welcome.
Hello.
Oh, yeah. Wait, we have a thing. Here we go.
Whoa.
Nice. Yeah, so first of all, really happy to be here, and let's go for it.
Absolutely, man. And you're a Brazilian artist, and you're based in Brazil, right?
Yeah, I'm based in Rio de Janeiro, so born and raised here. And yeah, in Brazil, I'm actually looking at the beach right now, so really beautiful country and good vibes, And I would say that we have a lot of creativity in Brazil as well, for sure.
Yeah, we've had guests before. Like Fesk was on the show as well. I know you guys know each other too. You guys go way back too.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, great guy.
That's awesome, man. Well, we have I think you're I was saying this before the show. I think you're the first artist that we have brought on who's really lives in like the AR and VR space. And there's so much of that like I know very little. I've been in VR. I've done, I forget what the Google Paintbrush was back in the day on, in the App Store, that kind of stuff. Very fascinating, but like really want to dive into what you do because it's so much more than that. So yeah, why don't you tell us, how you do the magic that you do? And we're looking at this piece here, which is just a gorgeous piece, but I believe it's more than it looks like. So can you kind of break down what we're looking at here?
Yeah, of course. So this is one of my latest pieces called A Oferta, which is Portuguese for the offering. And this piece was a really challenge for me because I really want to dive into a new medium. So this is actually 100% touch designer, and it was really fun to build, and it's interactive, so I could do a lot of tweaks and like real-time interactions with the piece. And this piece was actually part of the Florence art residency through Sinbad and Mr. K curation, and it was so fun because I went to Florence and the piece was exhibited on a really special place. And yeah, the whole journey of this piece was really amazing. And the story behind this, yeah, this is the touch designer. So it's pretty much real time. So you can do, I mean, whatever you want, real time tweaks there. And this video, it's actually me using my hands to control the speed of the flower and the glow of the flower, you know.
Wow.
So yeah, and it's really fun, you know. But
Yeah.
So touch designer uses like a camera, like a webcam, and it uses the inputs from, I guess you can tell it what points to track. Like is that part
exactly.
of that? Okay.
So Touch Designer, it's a visually programming software, right? So instead of like writing code as we normally do, you know, you can put out nodes just like Blender or Spark AR, you know. So there's a lot of tools that use this visual scripting nowadays. So in Touch Designer, it's a way that you can create art installation, but I would say that people usually does Touch Designer to create interactive art or interactive installations, you know. So you can do a lot on Touch Designer. You can do like auto reactive stuff. You can do, yeah, like visually. You can use your camera inputs to change something in the artwork, you know. But yeah, it's really fun, and it's kind of hard, I would say. It's really technical, right? But since I come from the AR space, and in AR we were already doing a lot of this type of scripting, visually scripting, right? So I'm trying to get used to it. I'm not like a master in touch designer, not at all, but I'm having too much fun with that. And I really like this feature about the artwork being interactive at some point, you know. I would love to see a full art installation where this piece would, you know, people could come and interact with it, you know. So I'm really excited about that in the future for the art space in general. But yeah, just to, now that we have the technical side out of it, a little story about this piece. It's actually when we start the Florence Art Residency, Sinbad, he threw us to this theme about um, it's a Bible story, you know, the Abraham and Isaac, you know. And I'm not too much religious, and so at the first point, I was like, oh man, what I'm going to do with this theme, you know. And it was really nice because at the first weeks, I was really deep into the history and understand all the points of it, and it was really a challenge because, like I said, I'm not too much into religion, so it was how I could use this to explore new ways to create my art, you know. And this relationship was because we were studying a lot about Renaissance, and the Renaissance artists were doing a lot of biblical histories as inspirations, right? So yeah, this piece is actually about Abraham and Isaac's story, where God comes to Abraham saying that he needs to prove his loyalty and he had to sacrifice his own son. So it's something like a dream. And then he goes in on top of the mountain, and when he's about to sacrifice his own son, an angel comes and say, "Okay, you already proved yourself. You can replace your son with this animal, and you just sacrifice the animal." So this is the whole story, and I'm like, okay, how I can use this story in my artistic research. And this animal that goes in the end part of the story actually comes in a bush, you know. So like, okay, this is a nature item that I want to explore. Like, this is actually where the animal appears, you know. So this flower that you are seeing on the piece, it's a reference to this bush, and this flower, it keeps regenerating itself. You can see like it's pretty much the blooming, the loop. So it's about how this cycle of Abraham and Isaac's story, but in a artistic and nature perspective, you know. So that's pretty much the story behind the piece, and it was really fun to create it.
That's awesome. So I love that the petals of it have this organic randomness flow to it. Is this entire thing made in Touch Designer? Are you generating these kind of geometry in Touch Designer as well?
Yeah, these are fun. So this is actually like a torus, you know, like the 3D donuts.
Oh, okay,
And
yeah,
I
yeah.
Yeah.
I use the 3D donuts, but I use a point cloud noise mapping to transform this torus, you know. So everything is created inside Touch Designer, but it's a combination of a normal 3D donut, 3D
Oh,
torus,
interesting.
yeah, with
So this
point
is all
cloud.
just from that that base geometry. It's not a bunch of like petals
Exactly.
attached to it.
No,
Oh,
no,
really?
it's
Very
everything
cool.
like pretty much mathematical numbers and
Yeah.
vectors. Yeah, it's
Oh,
really
That
that's
has a
fun to
really
awesome.
good
create that.
effect, though. That's really
Yeah.
cool. That's
It's even
awesome.
more. Yeah. It's simple in its idea, but I can tell based on I'm sure the node based chart you made was very complicated.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's
A
also
fun,
interesting that it's a performance, though, right? Like the way that
yeah.
you did, created the animation, you had to physically perform what you wanted it to do, right?
Yeah, so at some point I was like, okay, what is the speed that I want this flower to be, and what is the glow? So yeah, I was using like my hands, like, okay, this and this and this, and then okay, this is the final output, and then I record and yeah, play record and touch designer like to render it out, and then I get the final MP4 file, which was the file that I minted, right? But yeah, I have this build that it's 100% interactive, and I really want to put out this at some point in a solo exhibition or something that people can come and interact with it in real time.
Very
Yeah,
cool.
it'd be cool. Rebecca Rose has done some of that, like Pepper's Ghost hologram stuff, where it's like a tube that the projection goes into, and it'd be cool to see if this like floated in a glass tube. Essentially,
Mm,
you could still have people interact with the hologram of it.
Yeah, that would be nice.
that'd
Yeah.
be a really cool
And
layer.
quick fun fact: this is actually like visually saying. I would say that this is my simplest piece, like really simple visually saying. It's just the flower and the black background, but actually it has so much story behind it and how I had to approach the Bible story in the Florence Art Residence. So it visually, I was trying to do something simple, but I can never do something simple. It's like on my mind, I'm like, okay, I need to go further and further and further. So on the backstage, it's crazy stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
speaking of not just going simple, some works like this are more evident of that. Like the amount of stuff that's going into the Purple Valley. Um, what are we looking at here? Because I think I understand. I want to say words like lidar, but I don't want to misspeak. So what are we looking at there?
Nice. Yeah, so this is one of my really favorite piece, and it's called O Vale Roxo, which is Portuguese for the Purple Valley. And this is all 3D scans, right? So this piece has a really deep story underneath it. I'm going to tell a little bit about it. So this is actually at the Botanical Gardens where Brinkman was,
Yeah.
yeah, a few weeks ago, right?
Nice.
So it's one of the most important nature locations that we have in my city in Rio. And so I went there and I 3D scanned pretty much everything that I could. And that day I was with the family, yeah, my father, my mother, my girlfriend. So I also 3D scanned all of them, and I really want to put out this story, which is uh, a quick background. We had a really strong dictatorship in Brazil in the 60s, right? And my great father, he was against the dictatorship, so he went to jail like a bunch of times. Like my family has this background point. So also my father. So when I was growing up, and I realized that at some points I had this in my mind, like I should be fighting against the dictatorship and like the political side of we have in Brazil. But I just want to do art. And why I'm telling this is because last year when I was starting to 3D scan all these nature items, my father came to me and he said like, that art is also political. And this message from him really, for me, it was something like, okay, I'm accepted, like in the family history, even doing art and different stuff. So this was really important. So this piece is actually, you can see like my father, my mother, and my girlfriend. They're the three of them are looking to the center, and this center is actually a oil painting that I created in the Rio Art Residency last year. So this is the first frame that you see is the oil painting. And yeah, we have my family members, and this is the story. It's how the family is looking at my artwork with a prestigious view, something like this. So it's really personal, and it was really fun to create. And since I'm doing these 3D scans and they are pretty much point clouds, I can use noise and mathematical functions to distort these point clouds, right? So this is why I can make like my father appearing with this magical tone, and
Yeah.
all of them have some
Yeah,
tweaks.
warping.
And yeah, one thing that I really like is because the artwork here is not the main aspect, because it's the middle part, but the main aspect is how the family looks at my artwork. So this is why in the background a lot of crazy stuff is happening, and the floor is getting distorted, and the piece is like getting blown, but the focus is on the family and how the family visualize my journey, and that's pretty much it, so it was really
So
important to create it for me.
you're taking the 3D scans that you're making with like an iPhone app, I assume, and then bringing them in. What software are you using here? Is this Blender?
Yeah, this is cool. So this is actually 100% After Effects.
Really?
Crazy,
Wow.
right?
Whoa.
what
Okay.
what plugin is
And
that, or is that you just bringing
yeah,
it straight in?
there's a few Gaussian splatting and 3D scans plugins for After Effects.
I had
The
no
only
idea.
thing that I've done outside After Effects, it's the camera. The camera, it's actually on Blender, and I plug in my Xbox controller, so I could do like a smooth
Wow.
camera. So I output the camera from Blender to After Effects, but all the distortions and all the everything that is combining
Wow,
the 3D scans are inside After Effects.
That's
that is an
fascinating.
interesting workflow. So
Yeah.
wait, how do
Yeah.
you're using the Xbox controller? Are you controlling it with the thumbsticks then?
Yeah, so
To do it?
I'm using the thumbsticks to control the camera. And this is
Wow.
actually I learned in crypto voxels. So you can actually control crypto voxels camera with an Xbox controller, and that's how you can put out like really smooth animations
Ah,
inside virtual worlds. And
Smart.
then I apply this technique here as well. so
Dang.
interesting.
so it's
Wow.
something like a game. I can actually
Yeah.
go with my Xbox controller, and I can navigate into this world, and I can record what I want. Then after getting all the camera and all the 3D scans combined in the same place, I was adding the effects and the distortions and the noise and everything you can see here.
Yeah, it's a much more natural movement for a camera when you can actually physically move a camera, right? Versus just putting one point to another point and then, using a
Exactly.
interpolation, arc. So definitely it comes across as a natural camera. That's a really fascinating workflow. And I know so you're doing things like this, but you're also doing pieces like this, right? That are static.
Oh yeah,
This is a gorgeous piece here. What are we looking at here?
appreciate.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a really special piece, and it was dropped on AOTM when Brazil was we couldn't enter Twitter,
Yeah.
right?
That's right.
It
Yeah.
was when we had that
Lockdown.
moment. Yeah, it was crazy moments here in Brazil. So AOTM put out this drop. It's called Desconectados, and it's something like offline, like with
Mm-hmm.
so. Yeah, this piece is actually a VR painting. So I was with my VR headset. He's actually with me here. So
I,
yeah,
s- I
my
saw
my
Nice.
where is it? Like that kind of
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
really
So that
impressive.
piece was created using virtual reality. So I jump on, I put out my VR headset, and I can paint. And something that is really curious, because when I grew up doing graffiti and everything, paint was actually really expensive. And now with the VR headset, you can just plug in and you have infinite paint. And it's fun because you actually only need like a 2 meters square, and you can actually have a infinite studio everywhere you go. So I always like to say this: the technology actually made me be more creative. It gave me tools that I could put out more creativity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's
this piece is VR painted. It was this drop for AOTM, and it's actually the story behind it is walking straight into twisted paths. And we have this Brazilian slang that you're doing the right thing, but you're going through different, like not the normal paths that usually people percur. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
This is also about my art journey. Like when I started, and I was really, really young. Everybody's like, this will not happen for you. You know, this will not get you anywhere. But I've doing this since my whole life. So for me, this is the representation. Like I'm doing the right thing, even it's not the usually thing that people do. You know what I mean? So that's
Yeah.
pretty much the story behind this piece.
I would have never placed that this was done in VR. That's so cool.
Mhm. Yeah.
Nice.
I
Yeah,
feel
it's
like-
painted in VR, and then of course, I came to Photoshop and After Effects to tweak, like, do some tweaks, especially with color correction, you know, and adjust some things.
Yeah.
But the
Sure.
whole base structure is VR, and yeah, it's fun because you can mix spray paint, you can mix different type of oil paintings, you know, like it's really fun.
That's
And
What is the
great.
last thing
VR
that I
app?
want to say, this is painting VR. This one.
Painting VR. Cool.
Yeah.
What
And
was the
it's
last
fun
name?
because when you say VR art, people usually expect like a 3D painting, right? A 3D
Yeah.
object, you know. But
Mhm.
it was really fun to build like this painting, like a 2D, something like a traditional painting, right? In like a canvas one, because you can actually scale this up. So it's really fun because this painting, at some points of the process, it was bigger than my actually walls. You know, I was looking like the paint was really, really big. I'm like doing like tiny details, you know. And then you just slide down the scale factor and you have the piece like this. And you
Right.
know, so you can manage this scale, and it's, since you're there in VR, it's so like, okay, this is awesome, you know. So it was really fun.
Very cool.
Yeah, that is really cool. And I mean, just you know, moving on with other stuff that you've done in VR, right? Was this done in VR, or is this also a tricking us with After Effects? And what is this? This is really cool.
Okay, this is one of my favorites too. So this is Purple Valley in Berinha, and it's the piece that I made in the Bali art residency that I went last year. It was a 1 month long residency in Bali, curated by Pope Dean,
Hmm.
and it was so incredible because it was actually the first time ever that I got out of my country because of my art, you know. So I was like really excited about that, and 1 month long in like the other side of the world, because from Brazil, literally, Bali is like the other side of the world, you know. So I was really going deep into a new culture. It was really fun, and I really wanted to dive into the nature aspects of the locals. So everywhere I go, I was like talking with the locals and understanding their relationship with nature and this type of stuff. And this person, the local one, she said to me like, "Oh, we actually have like a a prestigious ritual happening around nature. It's one of the most ancient trees we have in Bali, and it's like 1 hour from here." So I was like, okay, this is where I want to go. So I
Hmm.
pick up my bike, I drive to this big tree, it's like 700 years old, so massive tree, and they have this ritual where they see the nature as electromagnetic fields. So they like to hug the trees and feel this energy that the nature expels. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
I
when
mean,
I
you're
went there, this was really like, wow, this is awesome. You know, it was really impressive. But I was thinking like, they feel this energy, but they had never got the opportunity to view these electromagnetic fields. You know, so I was like, okay, I can 3D scans all this nature, and using noise and mathematical functions, I can actually put out these electromagnetic fields. So this is why on this piece it's something like an abstract nature, because this is the feeling that I want to show. It's like they already had the vision, but they couldn't see it. So now in my artwork, they can see the vision that they already had with the electromagnetic fields. You know what I mean?
yeah. Wow. Were
So
you able to share that with them afterwards?
yeah, it was. I went there. I went back there when I was finished it, and I showed to some of them. They was like, "Wow, this is amazing," you know. So I actually 3D scanned more than 40 nature items all over the Bali island. So there is like nature items from this Bali tree. There is some in the monkey forest they have, like all over the Bali island. And
Mm.
I come out with this, and to add another layer of concept into this, I actually got the traditional ritual they have, and I use an AI text to speech to read that ritual in Bahasa, which is the local language in Indonesia, in Bali. So when you see this piece with sound, there's actually this old lady going through the ritual, but in Bahasa, you know. So it's really a mix of visually and sound to get you into the ritual. It's something like this, you know. And to finish this piece, when I went there, I understood they have this really strong connection with the nature and the tree. And crazy thing is, my grandfather, when he died, we put out his ashes to a tree here in Brazil, actually in the near where you were, Brian. So,
Oh,
and
cool.
some fun fact, earlier that year, I went there and I 3D scanned that tree. So it's like, okay, why I don't make this connection between this really important tree for me in Brazil and this special tree in Bali. So this scene right now that the tree transforms into another tree is actually this connection, and from the Bali tree to my grandfather tree in Brazil. And the message that I want to put out is like, we see the nature as individual stuff, like, oh, there's nature here, there's nature there. But the message that I want to put out is actually the nature is all connected. So from a tree in Brazil to a tree in Bali, all of them have really special uh, emotions for some people. You know, that's the
Yeah,
story behind space.
they're all emitting the same energy. Um,
Exactly.
no, that's really cool.
I love that.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, you've just been pushing the boundaries all over the place. And I also want to give a quick shout out to the fact that you've built a gallery in Rio that showcases digital art, and you've gotten the support of places like Meta and stuff like that to kind of push this message forward. And I mean, you're just constantly expanding what's possible. It's really cool to watch.
Appreciate. I'm trying my best to. I would say that I really want that my body of work should represent like a history book of how new technologies comes to the creative world, you know, because this is how everything started to me when I started doing AR and VR. I always saw people using these technologies to do like brand and commercial stuff. I'm like, okay, I want to use this tech but in the creative field. So this is what moves me, you know. Every time that a new technology comes out, I really want to get this and like how this could be used in the art space. So this is why I'm doing like AR, VR, and 3D scans, you know, and metaverse and everything that I can, because I really want to dive into this new tech, you know.
Very cool. What do you use for your 3D animations? What software?
So usually for 3D, it's a combination of Cinema 4D and Blender. And now with Touch Designer, that you can do a lot of. I'm really deep into
Yeah,
Touch Designer now. I would say it's my momentum in Touch Designer, you know. But yeah, also Magica Voxel for crypto voxels and voxels art stuff, you know. So
yeah,
yeah.
very cool.
It is really cool, man.
Yeah.
And it looks like you've done so much, but it also feels like it's so early and you're still scratching the surface with what's possible. Just even
Yeah.
down here with these masks and the AR
Yeah.
experience and changing the world to be what you see.
Once
You can-
AR
Yeah.
glasses come into
I
play,
would love to
it's
chat a
ready.
little bit about the Purple Valley effect that you have there, real
Yeah.
quick. So this is what everything started in a professional artistic journey, I would say, because it was the first moment that people was like actually looking at what I was creating. So I started to create AR in 2018, you know, understanding augmented reality and how you could use that in art. And then I went 2 years learning about colors. And in 2020, I launched this effect called Purple Valley. And I released it as an Instagram filter. So pretty much everywhere, everybody in the world can just put out his cell phone, and everywhere there is nature, the nature will be transformed into purple. And the message here is like, we should visualize nature is already there, but we should look at it in different ways, because it's pretty much what gets the oxygen into the world. And sometimes we just get that like, okay, we don't get too much attention to that. So the thing about changing the nature, the color of the nature, is to get this attention. Like we should put out more energy into the nature and what the nature brings to us. And then I released this filter around 2020, and it went crazy viral. We had like 9 billion views, 300 million photos took with that. It went to like Vogue magazine, Paris Hilton, all the big influencers, the big names were playing with that and like posting stories, with the effect. And this is where I realized that I really want to go into the interactive part of it, because Purple Valley is not like a MP4 or a PNG. You actually need to open your cell phone camera and interact with it. So it's something like a live art. You know what I mean? It's like a
Yeah.
live
Yep.
chain.
Yeah.
So I'm really focused on this part.
That's really clever, man, and congrats on all the success with it. It's so striking when people first see it, and I think that's a really cool idea. That nature is all around us, but when you highlight it like this in an unexpected way, it really does, bring attention to it and kind of just show how abundant nature is around us and how we're all connected to it. This is awesome, man.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, speaking of connecting to others, what do you guys think about connecting to other artists and other artworks that we've picked out?
Yeah, let's go for it.
A little show and tell.
Yes.
All right, I'll say this now before I get cut off, but this is the part of the show where each of us has brought 3 pieces of art we've either collected or think is really cool and deserves uplifting, and we play them for you all here. And at the end of the show, we have our Art First Twitter account, and all of the pieces that we've seen today will be linked, and people can go check out and give some love. So here we go. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Water or good? I'm close to the mic right now.
I think it's okay.
Okay, all right. It usually takes a moment, and I don't know why. So
Yeah.
one day we are to explain that. All right, here we go. Okay, so Ottis, we're going to start with a piece that you picked out for us here, and
Oh, Tari. Nice.
Tahari. I think this is Utari.
Yeah.
The piece is called Utari. Yeah, from Tahari H.
Yeah. So this is Tari, and I really want to highlight her artwork because we met each other in Bali, in the Bali Art Residency last year. And something that really connected me and her is everywhere, every time that I looked to her, she was drawing, creating, thinking about art. Like we were lunching and she was like with her iPad, like drawing. And it was crazy because the moment I went up and going to bed, every time that I looked to her, she was focused on her craft. And this really connected with me. And she's really special. She does a ton of stuff. She does oil, she does acrylic, she does digital. And this piece we're looking at, it's a digital piece that she created during the Bali Art Residency. And if I'm not wrong, the correct pronounce is Utara or Utaran. I'm not mistaken. But this piece is about a story of the Indonesia culture. So it's about the goddess, and it's really incredible how she could connect with her ancient culture and bring this up as a digital art in her aesthetic. So I really want to highlight her because she's incredible, and the amount of work that she put out to her craft is unseen. It's someone that every time you're going to talk with her, she will be drawing, she will be painting. So it's really amazing. And the details she put out, like if you go really, it's incredible.
Yeah. No, I'm lost in this piece and just finding new things everywhere I look.
The details
so
are
dense.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And the colors, like the colors are gorgeous and they play really well off each other. I didn't even see it. Looks like that bird over there is has like a face on there.
Face.
Yeah, it's a beautiful story about the story of Indonesia. So it's really deep into the story, and it's a representation of that. So it's really awesome when you understand the whole concept.
Fantastic.
Yeah, really powerful. I love the eyeballs that draw your eye to different places.
Yeah.
Like then you notice there's like a little legs coming out of the flower in the bottom, and then you notice there's the sun and the moon in the top. Yeah, it's just so cool.
Yeah. She's great doing that. And yeah, like I said, this is a digital piece, and it was fun to see her putting out this from the first days at the residency into the last one. It was really awesome.
Cool.
Very cool. I'm going to do it, Brian. We'll see what happens with my audio, but here we go. Good stuff.
Good stuff.
Okay. Brian, we're going to pick a piece here that you picked out. This is Falls by Feels.
Falls by Feels.
Falls by Feels, but it's gorgeous. Look at
Feels
this.
is one of those artists that I just love everything they drop on my timeline. And this one really, it's so soothing. The colors are great. They're just constantly putting out awesome work. And I just wanted to highlight them. I think they're doing awesome.
Yeah, some sort of like psychedelic nostalgic trip.
Yeah,
that feels very like a broken VHS, but beautiful. Like there's something really special with this piece right here, and it's
I like that there's like 3 types of waterfall going on.
Yeah,
the swaying drip at the top, then there's the going over the edge in the middle, and then there's this like honeycomb waterfall effect in the bottom third, and so you get like 3 different areas of interesting motion.
Yeah, and they all flow into each other really nicely.
Yeah,
nice how the perspective is on this piece as well.
In the top,
I really like this. Yeah, the depth. Yeah,
pouring down and then dripping over the edge.
Really nice.
Really, really cool, man.
The colors are also really good and gets you in there, right?
Yeah, it's dreamy.
It's very dreamy. All right, we've got another piece here. Let's see. This piece is I don't own anything related to this artist. I was just looking around finding cool things.
Now you're going underwater.
Oh, hello. Can I come back up? Am I back?
Kinda, yeah.
Oh my gosh. What? Why? No rhyme or reason. Good.
Yeah.
That's why we can. Can you still hear me now? Maybe. Hello. Good.
You're getting better. Okay, yeah.
Oh my goodness. Cool. All right. Next artist. I don't own art from them, but Kim Asendorf. I believe this is alternate. And I don't know. I just got lost in this piece because it's interactive, and it's just wild. And I just sat here for a very long time, tweaking it and playing with all the settings and there's tons and tons of settings that you can do, different color variations. Each one has its own animation. And so
that's cool. Yeah.
Kind of Pepe vibes.
No, Kim's been making awesome work for a while. He's definitely like rising the ranks in the generative art scene. I know Raul just picked up 25 of his pieces at one clip.
Okay.
And so, yeah, I mean, to me, Kim is the glitch artist of generative art. And just Cargo and XOX and making all these really cool projects. Very distinct style. Even the collaboration he did with Justin Aversano, it like distorts Justin's photos and does the similar effect. And so it's really cool to see how he keeps kind of branching it out.
Yeah, I also like how this could like go forever, and you could watch this like and understanding the patterns of the animations, where it's going, and this emotion actually reminds me when I was kid and we had that DVDs loading screen where you wanted to understand where the animation would go.
Yes,
this represents this feeling for me. Like I really want to see this whole piece and like trying to understand where the animations will be going. It's really exciting.
Yeah, that's really cool. There's something. We're a whole swath of people in this last couple of generations of digital nostalgia. Things that really connect with us. And to see art made from that is really cool. All right, we're gonna go back to Ottis. I've got your next piece is over here. Speaking of glitchy,
Yes.
beautiful digital fun, I cannot pronounce this. Vinte Quadros
Oh,
Gosto,
you almost got it.
Vinte
That's
Quad,
nice.
Vinte Quadra de Gosto. There we
You,
go.
that's really good. Yeah, so this piece is called 24 de Agosto,
I was close.
which is, no, it was really good. And this is from Will Sick. He's a Brazilian artist, and 24 de agosto is like Portuguese for 24 August, you know. So he's putting out
Beautiful.
daily outputs, and this is actually doing. I don't know if they pronounce in English it's Hydra, but we always talk about Hydra, you know. But it's yeah, you can do. It's like a programming language, and you can build a ton of cool stuff with that. And I really want to highlight Will because at least from my perspective, he was one of the first that I saw like in my circle that he was experimenting with early AI GANs and Hydra and generative art, you know, at least in Brazil, in our inner circle, you know. So since like early 2021, late 2020, he was already experimenting and he has this concept about the relationship between human and the machine. So I would say that pretty much all of his body of work is around this relationship, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
what we're looking at right now, it's one of these daily outputs he's putting out. And this is all done in Hydra or Hydra. I don't know how to pronounce in English, but and he actually has like feedbacks and glitches going on. So he has like a visual image or video, and then he used like a MIDI control to rotate and
Oh wow.
translate the position. So this is actually like a something like a real time movement that this glitch and feedbacks occurs, and then at some point he captured a snapshot out of it, and this is the piece, you know. So he's actually controlling these movements, you know.
Wow.
It's
Wow.
really incredible. And yeah, he was actually building a custom tool on top of Hydra to customize this. And so great guy, one of the earliest at least in Brazil to experiment with new mediums and new AI stuff back in the day. So he's always looking at the next step, you know.
I love the colors too, and the
Yeah,
way it
great
flows.
colors.
And it's
Yeah.
also, speaking of like just using the medium, um, as art, right? Because you know, to see something like this is so digital, but just also so incredibly painterly. Um,
Yeah,
there's something really special about that.
yeah,
Very cool. Very
It
nice.
connects well with the Kim's work too.
Yeah,
yeah,
and if I'm going to
exactly.
continue to make connections, let's make another connection, Brian, with this piece that also has waves. Look at that.
Ah, yes, yes,
This
Oh,
yes.
is very nice. This is Waves 37 by Samantha, I
Mm-hmm.
believe. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is a piece I collected a month or two ago.
It's gorgeous.
And yeah, I just go back and look at it because I think it's like a very lovely piece. It's worth looking at the whole series because she basically made 100 wave pieces that all feel like they're kind of single color screen prints in a way. And I thought it was a really powerful collection that holds up really well. Oh, no. Open sea, no.
And see, what have we done? There we go.
There you
Oh,
go.
wow. Yeah.
And so, yeah,
so
just
this is
getting that
this
texture of
is
the water.
these are all photos, right? Or I'm mistaken?
I assume it's AI um, with some post processing done on top of
Okay,
it.
I thought they were like photos with post process on top.
They might be. They might be. But I assume it's AI. But
Looks
I'd
really
look
good.
more into the process. But I just, I think it's a
They're
fun
gorgeous.
collection.
Yeah.
The ocean is something that really gets my attention as well. It's fascinating to look at it. I don't know why.
I like all the cracks
I
that.
love how,
Yeah, that's
unpredictable and the
wow.
connections. Like, it's fascinating. Look at that. Look at that. the fine lines and the fine details. Very nice, man.
Very nice.
All right, moving on. Speaking of details, we're gonna go here to this piece, Palisade by Andrew Mitchell.
Yeah.
And just it got me first with the colors, but then I just got lost in the details. And honestly, like I said, so I don't know too much about the work, but I really enjoyed it, and I just did a mini dive on other pieces and found myself connected to this one.
No, I love Andrew's work, and I've collected a few. I believe this is P5JS generative code.
I think you're right. I think so. Yeah.
And yes, no, he's been doing really cool code, whether it's like his collaboration with Grant, Primera, or his. I have one of his flower pieces from I think his Nifty Gateway series, but yeah, I feel like he's really honed his craft, and it is a very recognizable style at this point, especially with these kind of like flower patterns.
Very cool.
I really like how you can build this nature stuff, but using like generative tools. This really fascinates me. This relationship about the mathematical and the nature. How you can combine those. It is something that I really like to see.
Yeah, it's a cool piece. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I've said it before. I don't know. I've tried my hand at P5JS, and it's just nothing like this.
Now that Transient has that Juno, you'd be surprised. I bet you could make something a little easier than it was before.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, but really lovely piece for real.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool.
Now I want to zoom in and see all the details.
All right. So Ashish, this is your last piece that you've picked out here. And I don't have the audio to go with it right now, but it is an interactive game art piece.
That's a crazy piece.
Pretty wild what we're about to do here. I'm gonna mess around with some sliders and go goofy with it.
Let me tell you a little bit about this piece. So this is crazy. You can go really, really deep into this. So this piece is from Xpixel, which is a Brazilian artist as well. And he's doing so much incredible stuff, and he was building his own game, and he has this story about the Elephant Man and something like he has a band. It's so deep into the world when you understand the whole concept of it. And this piece is one of from him that I most like. It's as you can see, it's interactive and generative, and it's actually about music. So this is something like a tool to create music, and everywhere you change or transforming the music, and there is some really good tweaks. Like you're doing the controllers, but you could also randomize it, and this actually outputs as a 101 when you mint with your wallet, so it's a single output with all this crazy stuff, and there is so much stuff that you can tweak with these sliders and all the buttons. There's also the circle on the, if you go a little bit on the top, on the left, then you go crazy. Like there's a ton of stuff. It's really
crazy.
Amazing.
It is.
It takes me back. It makes me feel like I'm looking at a software from like a floppy disk like 20 years ago, but it's like making insane graphics. And so you're saying this NFT mints other NFTs?
Yeah, it's like a 101 outputs with your wallet. Like, it's really fascinating. There is actually an article about this whole piece, and it's so much going on in there. This is actually if I'm not mistaken, it's a custom contract by Ktorn that you can update this in the future. So Xpixel can actually build new features and update some stuff, and this contract will be updating, and you can play with this. And if I'm not mistaken as well, he was creating this on Godot. I don't know if that's the right pronounce, but so it's so much, and the article has all the details, but it's so incredible what you can do with this tool from him.
This hurts my brain.
It does
later. I'm definitely gonna play around.
It feels like when making a decision of what to put into the piece, the answer was everything.
Yeah, that's a good way to visualize it. Yeah.
It's very cool, man. I'm going to throw it on there, see if it breaks my audio, but it's good stuff.
Yeah.
Wow.
Very cool.
Oof.
All right.
That's
I had to click off. Let me click off of this. Can you still hear me, Brian?
Yep.
Doing this?
Yeah, everything good.
Great.
Okay. All right. We're gonna go from one overwhelming and beautiful piece to another. We're going your side, Brian. Here we go. Look at this. This is so much fun. This
I know
daily
this.
synesthesia.
Yeah. So this is
Cyberdelia?
Cyberdelia.
Cyberdelia.
Yeah. And they have such a cool style that is kind of collage video, rotoscope cutout craziness. But
again, the everything approach, and I love it.
Yeah, it gives you a lot to look at, but it has a great.
You know, he's Brazilian too. You know that, right?
I did not know that.
No.
Oh yeah, he's Brazilian as well. Yeah, great guy. We've been chatting for some good years now. Love his work as well.
Nice.
That's awesome.
In Brazil, they got some good talent there.
They do a lot of creativity in Brazil.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is sweet, and yeah, I saw, I think this piece on the timeline at one point, and then I went down like a deep dive of his work, and it's just full of really cool stuff. So I snagged this piece because it was. I think it's still minting on Manifold at a pretty decent price. But yeah, he's got awesome work out there, worth checking out and diving into.
Yeah,
That's
great guy.
Cool. Wow. Yeah, it's a lot going on, but it's not so overwhelming that I enjoy like watching it because I want to keep seeing the things that I missed from before. And it feels like a really cool story. You know what I mean? Like there's really like the textures in this thing is just gorgeous, and I love that it's a mix of all these different techniques.
I like
this is the
how
part of the show where we just watch art.
Sorry, didn't catch it.
I was just saying this is the part of the show where we just watch art. What were you saying?
Nice. Yeah, I like how he added the pigeons. Pigeons, something really big in Brazil. You know, everywhere you go, you are gonna see them. It's nice reference to the country. You know. But yeah, his animation is pretty crazy, and you can go to his entire body of work and be like, "Wow, what's the next one?" And like, "Wow, let's go for it." You know.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right. Last piece, last but not least, is a piece here by an artist, Giant Swan. Speaking of VR artists, I See You Now, I'm So Sorry, is a gorgeous piece. And I know this is also another artist who just works primarily in VR. And I believe all these are sculpted in VR, which also hurts my brain. But this is such a soothing, even if it's, some of the imagery could come across as a little violent. It's just a really soothing piece to me, at least. And I love the way the light is coming through the center of the chest and going outward, and it's gorgeous.
Yeah, I like the slow pace of the animation. Like it gets like emotional, right?
Yeah,
I really like that feeling. Beautiful piece. Also, I would say some like particles on the bottom side of it.
Mm-hmm.
This really added.
It gives it depth, right? It gives it a sense of space.
Yeah, he kind of creates it with simple geometry in VR, and then he brings it into a rendering software and gives all the crazy shading and particles and camera movement, which adds so much to it. Really I remember, he's a wonderful guy. I remember talking to him about his process a long time ago and how he spends so many hours in VR during the day that he had to do he's like a test subject to see like how it affects the brain and to see if it's dangerous to be in VR too long. And thankfully it doesn't seem to have a negative effect. But yeah, to make something like this, he's just like spending so many hours a week in the headset.
Yeah.
Wow. It's intense.
Intense and beautiful.
It's gorgeous. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, that is that part of our show. I mean, in general, I this was really eye-opening, especially that part where you talked about how you're using like After Effects and game controllers in ways that that doesn't compute for me. Like my brain, I would never think to make those connections. But I've really enjoyed this, man. Is there anything you got coming up, or anything you want to plug or want to talk about, or?
Oh yeah. So first of all, I'm really happy to be here, and what you guys are doing for the space, it's really special. You know, like talking about art, and I love the name, like art first. You know, this is really special and for real. But yeah, just final thoughts. I'm now into my fourth art residency, which is in a museum here in Brazil. So it's my
Wow.
first art residency in like the traditional space. So it's really different, and we're gonna build something that I'm really excited for it. But the exhibition just next year, so I have like almost like a 1 year to build this idea. But I'm working on that piece, and if everything goes well, it will be really amazing concept, you know. And yeah, the other thing I'm building as well is I'm creating this collection of 5 pieces, all done in Touch Designer with interactive aspects of it. And yeah, it will be flowers and nature, of course, interactive ones like digital plants, and yeah, always talking about the hidden patterns of the nature through technology and colors, you know. So we're really excited of what it's coming.
Dude,
That's
well, we
awesome.
can't wait to check it out. Make sure you share it with us. We'll share it out. Just like we'll share all the pieces that we talked about today. Your pieces, all the other people that we shared. It'll all be in our Art First Twitter. Thank you to all the new people who have checked out the show. Thanks to everybody who's been watching live, which is really awesome. And we really appreciate it. But Ashish, thanks so much for coming today. This was this is something this is a a personal project for us, right? Like we love doing this. This is like one of our favorite things to do is dive in with artists. So we really appreciate you coming on and chatting with us today.
I appreciate you for the space, and yeah, I mean, almost all the artists loves to talk about the artworks and their process, right? So
Yeah.
like I could be like hours and hours and hours talking about all the piece.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah, I appreciate for having this, and you know, we can talk about and discuss the process, which at least in my perspective is one of the key features about the piece. You know, sometimes I'm more focused on the process and not the final piece. You know,
Yeah.
so really
Very
nice.
cool. All right. Brian, any
Great,
final
great
thoughts?
insights.
Yeah.
No, just thanks for coming on. I learned even more about you. I felt like I knew a lot about your work, but I learned even more today. So this was a success because I'm always curious on how the art is made. So appreciate you willing to share.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Well, until next time, everybody, thanks for checking us out, and we will catch you on the flip side. Take care,
Nice.
everybody.
Have a great day.